Hello there, Flameborn, and welcome back to another video here in Enshrouded. Today, I've kind of finished this hillside village or town that I've been working on for, well, quite some time now, with adding this tower right here in the middle, which kind of finishes this whole area of the infrastructure that I laid out so far. And yeah, it really connects everything. So in today's video, I want to, of course, take a look at all of the new additions, as well as do a full tour of the town that I've got so far, just as a kind of a base layer, because I do want to get into doing some more Enshrouded builds again. In fact, I already had a poll up on my channel asking you what Enshrouded builds you'd like to see next, and I think the Hunter's Lodge is the winner, so that might be one of the next projects. But today, yeah, we're going to take a look at this new area, of course, as well as everything that I have in this town so far. And as always, of course, if you enjoy seeing these Enshrouded builds and you want to continue to see more, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And feel free to leave your suggestions for future things to add to my town or to build in general down in the comments below. So yeah, it really is starting to all come together here with this tower now being here in the center, kind of connecting a few different areas that I had. You know, there was a big gaping hole here with only the market stall, but now this tower fills up that space quite nicely. We have these stairs leading up to it with the little side building attached to the side of the tower, filling in the last remaining gap between all of this, which is kind of the pathway up to the farmlands behind this town. And then, yeah, we already had, of course, the waterways and all of the buildings down here, which now really all feel like a connected whole. So yeah, if we walk through here, we get to where my flame altar is. This is kind of the fisherman's market, which is definitely a really nice area. And now we have the backdrop of having that tower just stick out slightly above the rest of the buildings, which I think is a really nice addition and kind of finishes off this area that I've been working on. I added these lights here in the tunnel just to give it a bit more atmosphere. This landscape wall, of course, is a future problem. The transition from the town into the farmland is something that we'll have to work on at some point. But here we now have a staircase going up, and then this little square is right next to that tower. So there we go. And I'm quite happy with the result. We've got a little building here off to the side of the tower again. Also some of the, I believe, the new pieces here with this piece of canvas sticking out from the building. I have some flagpoles here underneath it to support it all, which makes for quite a nice cozy bit down here with some decorations around, of course, to fill it up. And I added some windows into these buildings because I didn't have anything there yet until I figured out what this room or this space was going to look like, because I mean, I didn't know how big the building was going to be. We have a very narrow alley here to get back to the fisherman's market, which is quite cool. I think little things like this definitely help with the feeling of it all being a proper town with little ways to get around it and connecting. And we do have a windmill here at the back of the tower. Since that's facing the farmlands, I thought it would tie the area together quite nicely. And well, these dynamic pieces are just a really nice addition to your build. So yeah, of course, this little market stall was already there, but now it finally has the backdrop of this amazing tower. The tower itself is relatively straightforward, nothing too special. It does use some of the new windows, the bigger windows that they added, which are definitely a very nice addition. And as you can see, it just really helps fill up this area. It ties everything together and it adds some extra height, which definitely is also a welcome addition. But yeah, just this view of the town is definitely my new favorite now that it is all completed. You can see the different layers, you can see the barn, etc. in the background, the little windmill, you have the bridge, of course, going off to the side. Like, it feels like a pretty complete area now, which yeah, has been a nice thing to see finally come together, because it's been a while since I started this project. But yeah, we have the new building, of course. I haven't really done any interior, but I do like the way that it connects up with everything. And then of course we have the blacksmith up here, or at least the the living quarters of the blacksmith. And then this road actually connects all the way to the top to where the farmlands are. We have the windmill here, of course, and yeah, just goes all the way up to the very, very top of my little town area, where it kind of transitions from that town feeling place to a more farm area. Like we have, of course, a small little windmill right here on the edge, but we also have the rice fields, etc. A lot of the water as well, which definitely is, of course, a great addition to add some life. So we have the main water source up here in this like top of the little mountain that I created, which also holds this water reservoir, which is kind of the main water source that goes into my town at the moment. I do have another waterfall at the side, but this is definitely the main water source flowing underneath us right now, going into these rice fields, which have a few different layers that I can close off. Luckily, at the moment, they all seem to be working again. With some of the water updates, there was some leakage at some point, so I made some adjustments, but it should all be secured again. So yeah, we have the different fields before it flows down through the town itself, which I think really helps connecting all of these different layers in a meaningful way, rather than just having like random water sources everywhere. And then of course the farm area itself, which is definitely really cool. We have the main barn, of course, we've got the stables and the watchtower in the corner, all looking quite cool in my opinion. Definitely still some of my favorite builds here. And then if we go inside of the barn, we'll see this guy that always manages to escape somehow, and we have a bunch of creatures in here. I really try to keep this guy in, but somehow he always manages to get out of his little pen. Yeah, we have a bunch of creatures living in here, trying their best to escape all the time. This guy manages to do it. And then out here we have even more of the animals. We have the goats, the two different types. We have the armadillo, I believe, right over here. And then it seems that an armadillo has also escaped into this pen onto the side. But yeah, we have the yaks there too. So yeah, it just makes for a nice and lively area here, which not only is like visually like a farm and barn kind of area with the watchtower in the corner protecting us from the shroud behind, but it's also where our like practical farm is. Of course, these rice fields are practical, like we can actually grow rice in here, but there's also another practical field back here. Currently it's empty because, well, when we actually do use it, it looks a little bit random with all sorts of different crops. But yeah, it's a nice addition to have. These farmlands are definitely still a nice feeling, and especially now that we have this big tower, which not only connects everything from the town side, but with the windmill at the back, I think it really helps connect to the farm area too. So this road flows down. There's gonna have to be a town area here, kind of the transition from the town into this farm area. And then this path goes all the way to the bridge there in the distance, which is just a landmark on the map. Like that's just a pre-existing location. Actually, if you're wondering where this is where I'm built. I don't think it shows the name, but I think it's like a little lagoon or something is what it's called. But obviously now it's my place. But yeah, Stillwater Bay is the bridge. And yeah, oh, I guess it's raining now. we're gonna just continue, but I do want to have some kind of entrance, maybe something fortified there at the edge of my build area. Oh, this is a bit of a moody turn for our town tour, but I do think that so far it's all coming together. This area definitely needs some love, of course, but I also have a slight bit of land up the other side of the bridge, which is probably where I'd add the Hunter's Lodge, if that's the next thing I build. But yeah, we also do need to transition between this area here. Actually, the city and the town looks quite cool with these moody, rainy vibes everywhere. There we go. Yeah, the square, still one of my favorite areas for sure. And I've been enjoying doing all the decorating out on the streets, creating little scenes, you know, trying to make it all come to life. So far, I haven't really done any of the interiors. I do want to do the interiors of a few buildings at the very least, because there's so many really cool scenes that you can create, which I've tried to do on the outside already. But I think there's so many cool decorative options that it would be worth trying a few on the inside of buildings as well. So maybe the profession buildings, etc. we might have to do like some proper decorations. We have the blacksmith right over here, so with all the workstations, of course, here on the outside. We have the blacksmith itself as well, or at least one of the additional ones that you can get roaming around near the building, and a little dock area. Now, I do have future plans here to expand into the lake, because I want to make it a lake town. So far, we have not done that yet. But probably right over here would be where I would want to go into the lake, make a little bridge, and kind of fill up this entire area, this entire corner of the lake. Kind of like a Venice, you know, feeling place with a lot of canals and different houses, bridges, etc. to really capture that lake town feeling. It's still definitely on my to-do list, and I think if we just keep adding more buildings, we do need a few more workshops or locations for the different NPCs, which is always a nice way to approach builds, because it will give you a bit more of a guidance of what to build exactly. But things like a little church, etc., I think would also be great additions to the town. For the Hunter's Lodge, I think the place that makes the most sense is right here at the edge of my building zone, which is where this big bridge leads. We have a great view over the town from here, but there's actually a slight sliver of land here where currently my temporarily built storage is. I think it goes up to about here, my land, so that means that this corner of the land would be a perfect location, I think, for a little Hunter's Lodge, which would be overlooking the town itself, but still feel like it's connected to the wilderness behind it. And of course, we could do the landscape a little bit, add a little fishing dock or something like that. You know, I think we could do something really, really cool here on this little corner, which makes the Hunter's Lodge still feel like it's a little bit secluded from the town life, because I don't think it would fit in the town itself. And you'd have this amazing view over the rest of the town from here. So yeah, I think that could be really cool, especially with a nice little dock where we can fish and we can enjoy the town. Yeah, that might be the next project that I'm working on. And after that, it's a lot of infrastructure of going into the lake, you know, expanding into the lake, making it an actual lake town, adding more buildings for all of the different NPCs. And I would also really like some more water features, because the water features I have so far, I really enjoy. They add a lot of, well, flow to the build. I haven't had any water wheels yet, which I would love to add. So I think that's definitely also on the wish list. And I can either do that by, I guess, raising up some of the lake town area so I can have more flowing water bits, because the lake itself I don't think will qualify as flowing water. And as you can see, this part where the water flows down, it just adds a lot of character, I think, to the town. It helps guiding where paths should go. It adds layers, etc. So of course we could probably try to do something similar in the lake towny bit, but we'll just have to kind of raise the canals and make like different shapes and I guess flowing rivers from the mountain side, and that way we could hopefully still have some water wheels and things like that. But we'll have to see how much sense that makes. We could also have another river or another water feature flow down from the farmlands. So right over here, where we still need to kind of connect the town to the farmlands, is definitely where there's another option here where we could have more water flow down from the farm somewhere, kind of creating a nice canal or like little river flowing down in different layers. We could have a water wheel in there somewhere. That's definitely another option that seems pretty plausible to add. So I might do both. I might just try and see what works. But so far, at least, I am very happy with the direction that this town is going. The new addition of this main tower has definitely been very nice. Like, it really has helped make this town feel like a whole, even though it is definitely not done yet. But just because it connects every area to each other very well, it fills in that gap that was kind of like right in the middle of everything, which means from now on, I think I want to expand from this place outward instead of having to tie it all back together again. But yeah, walking around the town now, at least for me, it feels amazing. It feels like a proper town, and I can't wait to build even more. I have been taking a few little breaks from Enshrouded, but it's always fun to return. It's an amazing build system, and I think there is definitely more awesome builds to do. I want to build something for all of the different NPCs. Currently, we only really have the blacksmith and I guess technically the farmer as well. But yeah, it will be very fun to build the hunter, the carpenter, etc. Like, there's a lot of other things that we need to add. If you want to see those videos, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you again in the next video or the next stream. For now, goodbye.